right, welcome in episode 32 of Are You Cirrus? I'm meteorologist Andrew Dockery.
And I am Chief Meteorologist Jamie Arnold here at WMBF News, and not only episode 32 of Are You Cirrus, but episode 32 of the award-winning podcast,
Are You Cirrus?
Are You Cirrus?
Yeah, this weekend, RTDNAC, right?
Radio Television Digital News Association of the Carolinas.
So we are winners of that, which is awesome. But a big shout out to everyone who watches.
Yeah.
And listens and everything else. Over the weekend, and I think this is a testament to this, we hit over 11,000 views now on YouTube for Are You Cirrus? So thank you for that. And we're approaching 3,000 downloads.
Love it.
So listeners, viewers, whatever you are, thank you. Also, do we want to go ahead and talk about the finale that we've officially...
Let's save that for the end.
Okay, we'll save that for the end. Okay.
That's what we call a tease. Keep them watching until the very end.
You have to wait till the very end for that.
But this is, between that and our guest and this, we may be cranking out my favorite episode so far. I'm just going to set this right here.
That's fine.
We tried to have it sitting up, but we were scared we were going to drop it.
Well,
so.
and then we spilled coffee or something. Yeah. I don't know an episode title, but I feel like this could be called The Episode.
The Episode.
The Episode.
Yep.
I'm going to let you do the honors, too.
We're just going to jump right into it?
I think so.
I think we should jump right into it.
We got a lot to talk about.
Get done. After much wrangling and arm twisting and scheduling, it has finally happened.
Oh.
I'm a little nervous about it.
Just a little?
A little nervous. Our boss, WMBF News Director, the one and only Matt Stanley, is finally here this morning.
Thank you, everybody.
Hi, Matt.
I'm thrilled to be here. Wow, 11,000 views on YouTube, 3,000 downloads.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
And now award-winning. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I remember when it was just an idea
Mm-hmm.
in the news conference room, and it was like, how do we make this happen? How do we do this? What is this? What's this going to look like?
Mm-hmm.
And then what are we going to name it? So I think it's pretty awesome. So let's have a conversation.
Let's have a conversation.
like it.
Let's have a
I'll-
conversation.
I'll start it right off. Who's your favorite mayor, Andrew?
You know, both of you at different times of the day. Both of you at different times of the day.
So, Andrew?
I don't have a favorite. You know, what meteorologists do is incredible. A lot of people don't understand the science behind it and the education that you have to go through, and there's math involved. You know, as journalists, we don't do math.
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
we
so-
don't do it that well
We
either.
don't really do a lot of math anymore.
We don't do math, but what you guys do, especially when you put up with people like me, who says, "Hey, explain this to me, or
Yeah.
show me what this is going to be like," and then to have the patience to communicate it on air and the patience to put up with me every day is amazing. It takes a special person to put up with me every day. Shout out to my wife, Laura. Yes.
Because this one, I've had a lot of news directors in my
We're like 2 minutes in.
and we're just jumping right
Just
in.
going right
I've
in.
had a lot of news directors in my career. I mean, probably not as many as some other folks. You are, without a doubt, I always say something nice to my guests. So I'll say this one to you. You are, without a doubt, the best one I've ever had.
I
My
agree.
favorite.
Well, thank you. I enjoy my job.
But
They
I've
keep me on.
also never had such a marriage-like relationship with my news director as I do with Matt. Like, we've gotten to know each other's little irks and
True.
quirks, and I know when to leave Matt alone.
Yeah.
I know when it's fine to pop into his office. And that's important.
It is important. It is important to have that relationship with your meteorology team. You know, look, we ask the question every day, what's happening, what's going on. We have to have that relationship to text because we both work different hours. We work odd hours. We work long hours. Over the weekends, when a hurricane is approaching, that's when the conversation starts 10 days in advance.
Yeah.
It's really, or 2 weeks in advance. Or when there's a strong system approaching, it's a week or two in advance. And that conversation really does happen, which is fun. It's fun. And sometimes I know when not to make you mad. And I know when not to make you mad. And I know what does make you mad.
Yeah.
So we
Both
try
of
to
us.
avoid that and keep a healthy relationship, which
Yeah.
is fine. It's
I
important.
think we have a
It's important.
very healthy relationship
Yeah.
as far as, again, weather and news directors. I think this is probably the healthiest relationship I've ever had.
Well, it helps that I like weather.
Yeah.
And I can't do what you guys do, but I enjoy it. Weather has always been a huge part of my life from really the beginning.
Yeah.
Growing up in Alabama and then working and living in Louisiana for so long,
Yeah.
there's been several instances. I mean, we can talk about it. The April 2011 tornadoes.
I was about to bring it up.
That
Incredible,
was
yeah.
huge for me. I was 3 years in the industry, and I was just a brand new baby producer on the morning show at WSFA in Montgomery, Alabama, and we actually took Birmingham's news on air.
For people who that date. Let's throw it back.
Let's throw it back.
That date, that was the date of the incredible Tuscaloosa, Alabama tornado.
Yeah.
That was F4.
F4. Yeah, it was a multi-vortex.
Literally went through the heart of Tuscaloosa. There was a massive tornado that kind of sideswiped Birmingham. Just an incredible tornado
during the
outbreak.
daytime too,
Yeah.
which was all caught on these tower cameras.
Yeah.
And watching it unfold, and then watching the people show it unfold, and the emotions from some of the heavy hitters in the weather field was incredible. Looking at James Spann, talking about people that are just social media icons and weather icons, and seeing the devastation and destruction just unfold like that was I had family in Tuscaloosa at the time, and we're trying to figure out if they're okay. And then that's when that really sparked, okay, how do I engage with weather more? And that really sparked that tone of, as a producer at the time, what can you do? Well, you can talk to your meteorology team a lot more. They're not just in the studio hanging out, or they're not in their weather office. Not many people have a weather office, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that.
But they're not
He's
just
dropping
but
all
you
these-
have to. But you have to talk to them. You have to have that conversation every day, and that's what really sparked it. So the next step for me was in Baton Rouge, and of course, Baton Rouge is always in the bullseye when it comes to hurricanes and things like that. So Jay Grimes is a wonderful chief meteorologist at WFB. He's been there for 3+ decades. That's when I learned, hey, you got to go bother the chief, and I feel like bothering the chief and bothering the meteorologist on duty at the time really enhanced just talking about weather, and learning what I don't know. What I don't know. So that was a pivotal moment in 2011. So let's talk about another pivotal moment in 2016. And this is something that you guys harp on a lot, is that just because a storm doesn't get a name, or maybe it just takes one storm. There was a storm in 2016 that hit South Louisiana that didn't have a name, and it just parked right there in the heart of Baton Rouge and some of the lower lying areas. And when you have coworkers that have 8 feet of water in their homes, and they're in tears, they don't know what to do. When you have somebody call you, and I'm in the booth. I'll never forget, I was in the booth doing wall-to-wall coverage, countless hours, and you get a call from your wife and says the sheriff just knocked on the door, and it says you have to either leave or you're going to be stuck for days. That's something that's just an incredible feeling that I'll never forget. So when these guys talk about it doesn't necessarily have to have a name, or it just takes one storm, it really means something.
Yeah. I feel like you've done it all. And also, like you said, you've immersed yourself in weather. For producers who are just starting out, and this is why I think this is big for you, for producers that are just starting out, what would be your number one piece of advice to them? Because you've produced, you've also executive produced, you've worked your way up, assistant news director. What's the biggest takeaway they can do right now?
I think ask questions, ask why, and then learn what's in your toolbox. Learn the technology that you use, and they don't have to be. Young producers don't have to be experts at weather, but just kind of know what the purpose of it is, the why behind it, and then what are the tools that you use, and kind of dig into. Talk to me on why we're saying this. What does 20% chance mean? Does that mean 1 out of every 5, or is that coverage? Kind of learn that aspect of it. So just always be reading and be a fan of weather, but appreciate weather too.
I've never heard you talk so much, Matt.
I enjoy
I'm
weather.
impressed.
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
Look, I'm a fan.
I'm really
It's
impressed.
like he's telling a story. I'm
happy
like,
to be here.
We're here too, Matt. It's our podcast. Let us get a word in. Let's back up a minute. What is the role of a news director? And in case people, for the total newbies out there, what do you do? What is your job?
The job is to really maintain the mechanisms of the newsroom, and that entails story development, that entails reporters and producers, making sure our viewers are getting what they're demanding, and making sure that the lights stay on, making sure that the team has what they need to deliver the amazing product that we do every day, making sure the weather team has what they need to do. It's really more of a supportive role and it's making sure that we have what it takes, whether that's the amazing personnel that we have, the technology that we have, making sure that we have candy during Halloween, making sure that
we have pizza,
big thing.
pizza
that
on election
we have
night.
pizza on election night.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of things, and sometimes it never stops. But it's something that I really enjoy doing, and it's you know, it's always learning. I'm always learning, no matter what role you're in. You're still learning. You're still reading. You're still trying to figure out what's next. How can we do something different? How can we be innovative? And this is an example of that.
Yeah, it is. I feel like too, with your passion of weather, content for you was always king. Like you were always content, but in a good way, not like the overproducing way. With the need for weather ever growing, and we're seeing that daily, how has that changed from when you started to where we are now?
That's a good question. I think it's now more than ever before. The viewers want to connect. People want to connect with you as the community. They want to know who you are instead of just the person that shows up on the chroma wall, the green screen, in front of a radar tracking tornado warning.
Right.
More so than ever, they want to know behind the scenes, and they want to know the earliest warning, which is something that we talk about a lot, and they want to know what you're doing. It's more of a transparency in weather.
Yeah.
And I think that's changed a little bit. Before it was just, okay, well, we have this meteorologist. He cuts in during some of our favorite programming, which we try not to do,
Right.
but sometimes you have to. And I think it's more than that now. I think it's becoming, you know, the meteorologists are more so than anything ever the most important people in a TV station.
We'll have to remember that.
Remember, cut that for a promo.
That's right. Come race time, yeah.
Now, everybody has an important role.
Yeah.
But we're the most important.
But I think, well, weather is something that impacts everybody.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that impacts everybody in our viewing market.
And that's something I try to tell our producers every time we have like a big weather event. This is your top news story because it's the only news story you're going to cover. Granted, every news story we cover is important. But as far as a news story that impacts every single viewer, it's going to be that hurricane or that ice storm or a severe weather outbreak. Every person who's watching is in some way impacted by that. And that's something I try to drive home to producers.
Yeah, for sure. One of my favorite things about Matt is a positive attitude. Most days, unless you're just. And then Jamie and I have a fun thing where if I know you're in a bad mood, I'll text Jamie and be like, off day for Matt, don't go in. And we know to not bother you, but you also do that to us, you know, if we're in a mood. But one of my favorite things about you is that your door is always open.
Yeah, it really
which
is.
I think that's a big thing for newsroom. That does not exist everywhere.
Well, it should.
Yeah.
But you know, it's because I do like talking to people. I don't like just sitting at my desk in my office all day, every day, looking at a computer screen. I get a lot of steps in. I walk around a lot, and I know some people are like, "Oh, Matt's walking around again," or he's just doing his tour again. But there's a purpose behind that, though. One is to actually get some steps in, get some exercise.
Yeah.
But two is to look everybody in the face that I can that day and look them in the eye and say hello. How are you doing? And if you're trying to connect with them and try and figure out, maybe they're going through a bad day, or maybe they need a pep talk, or maybe they need something from me that I can help out. So. Yeah, my door is always open. So is my phone. You can text me, call me anytime. But we like to, I don't know, I just like to talk to people.
Yeah.
I like to talk to people. Not necessarily on broadcasts like this, which is why it took me so long to get on this, because I'm kind of introverted. You know, I'd be honest with you, a lot of news directors, there's some that aren't, the ones that were on air previously, but a lot of news directors are introverted. So I like to joke that I'm an extroverted introvert.
Same.
That it takes a lot out of an introvert to do that, but I enjoy it. I love seeing everybody. We have an awesome team, so it's fun.
It's amazing that you came on, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
For the first time ever, our Shooting the Breeze is all directed to you. We've been teasing this for
That's probably too
weeks.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
So all the questions were submitted for this episode.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know we have a
I'll do my
lot. I
best.
figure we need to start in that.
We
if
do
we're
need
gonna
to
get
start.
them all.
Before we do that, though, I have to tell a story. A Matt Stanley
Okay.
story.
All right. Sips coffee.
Here we go.
Yeah. So one of the most important, I think, parts of our relationship, any news director to any chief meteorologist, any meteorologist, is that trust. A matter of trust.
It's true.
Because the news director has to trust that the chief meteorologist or the team says, this is an event we need to plan for, we need to get ready, we may need extra staffing, we may be going on the air, versus, yeah, I know what you're seeing, but this is not an event for us, is sort of finding that. You had been here, I think, maybe 3 weeks, and we were building that trust, very slowly building that trust. We had a day where we had a couple of showers, had a couple of storms, a little band of rain blowing through. There was no risk of severe weather. There was nothing in the forecast about severe weather. Everything was good, cruising along just fine.
I remember this.
Boop. A tornado touches down in the parking lot of Loris High School and flips a bunch of cars.
I was like trying to
That's not the only thing that flipped that day.
Like, what? What happened? That was a little rocky moment for us in the beginning. But I feel like we've come a long way since that.
We have. Well, that took learning the Carolinas and learning just the different.
Because we're not Alabama.
Area. You're not Alabama.
We're not Louisiana.
You're not Louisiana. You
Yeah.
don't see these things coming from
Right.
Coming off the plains and
Yeah.
tracking, and they're easy to find. Sometimes things happen here that'll surprise you.
Yeah.
And just because it's a level 1 threat or even a level 2 threat, you never know. Or it's a 0 threat. So
Yeah.
that was a good moment though. That was good. I look back
yeah.
on that a lot.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
I think we actually ended up winning an award for the coverage
We
of
did,
the aftermath
Patrick
of that.
Lloyd, absolutely.
But,
George Hansen.
Yeah. But yeah, just and again there was no warning for it. There was just nothing. Suddenly we just started getting reports of a tornado has hit Loris High School.
And I think it actually happened right here on this stage because this is the old weather office
this is
stage.
the old weather office.
And
yeah.
I remember coming from my office, walking, and you could probably hear me at the time, and then hopping on the stage at the time and saying,
What?
saying things that we can't say on air, but what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why weren't we ready for this?
Yeah.
So.
I think you're a lot more accustomed to Carolina weather.
I am now.
Yeah.
You always have to be on your toes. You never trust it.
Yeah.
Never trust it.
Yeah.
But that's why you're here, and that's why Andrew's here, and that's why Robert's here, and that's why Matt's here.
Yeah.
Shall we dive in?
Let's go for it.
I'm so excited.
I'll be honest with you. We did not put anything in here,
Okay.
Matt. These are all viewer
I hope they're-
and listener submitted.
We'll see.
I vetted them.
Okay.
There's nothing crazy.
Okay.
All these are going to be great. With Matt coming on this week, what is the one moment you thought, this is why I got into this industry? And 2, what is the one moment you thought, why did I ever get into this industry?
The one moment that got me into this industry was the magic of television and the power that it creates, whether it's weather, whether it's an emotional story, or whether it's informing the viewers. Because we take, this is kind of like a soapbox moment, but we take a tiny plastic camera and it's got some glass lenses, and we point at an image, and then it gets compressed into ones and zeros and digital elements, and it goes up into space and comes back down, and it hits your phone, it hits your TV screen, and it makes you feel. To me, that's amazing, and it's something different every day. I'm never bored every day, and that's what really got me in this industry. I think that was really cool, and especially as a producer, because a lot of our producers will attest to this, that it's like a puzzle every day, and you have to solve it.
It is.
And it's something new, and the pieces look different, and you got to put together, and you got to take your viewer on a journey, and you've got to include weather, and you've got to include sports, and you've got to include all these pieces together to come together with a newscast, and it takes so many people behind the scenes to do that, and that's really, really cool. Hope that answered the question.
Yeah.
Hope
And
that
then
did.
some
Okay.
days you put every single piece of that puzzle together,
And
and
it's
5
amazing.
minutes before the newscast, there's breaking news.
It just breaks news, you have to
And
blow it up
all
again.
goes out the window.
Yes, or I'll come up to the producer now and think 10 minutes before, which I've tried to do a better job at, and say, I think you need to change your lead.
Yeah.
I think I need to change that up just a little bit, but I try to do a lot better at that. Something that oh my gosh, why did I get into this business? Or why did
what's the moment? Why did I ever get into this?
Why did I
business?
ever get in this business? There's not a really key moment for that. I think there's been a couple of moments that have taken me to the newsrooms, various newsrooms that I've been into, overnight and extended hours. And
Those
some
are
of those are tough that you have to do when you have a family at home and you have loved ones at home, and you have to make some very difficult decisions on weighing where you need to be. And some of those have been some tough moments where, and I think there was I call it the summer of, the summer of heck. Can I say hell? Okay, I'll call it the summer of hell.
Said a lot worse.
Now I'll probably watch me hit the blogs now, and I'll get a call from somebody. I'll get a call from my bosses saying, "What did you say?" The summer of it was a really bad summer in 2016 that we had some some social unrest in Baton Rouge, and we had floods, and we had hurricanes, and we had just about everything in the book, and it was all back to back within a 3-month span.
That's always the worst.
And that was pretty tough. That, and then again, seeing your coworkers suffer are the moments where, man, I don't know if I can push through. And that was a time where I got out of the office a lot more too, and saw the pain and suffering on people. But then it also reinvigorated on what we do is important to help them out.
Yeah.
So it was both a time where I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Or why did I get into this? But it also propelled me to the next 6 and 7 years.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think one of the prime examples, at least since you've been here, of just kind of the toll that it takes sometimes, especially if you have a family, Hurricane Ian, you were out on paternity leave.
Yes.
Yeah.
And came back early because we
Yeah.
had a hurricane coming.
We had a hurricane
And
coming,
It's
and-
kind of what you have to do.
Again, my wonderful wife, and I can't say this enough, that she is amazing and supportive, and the fact that she's able to handle things at home so I can be here. And sometimes it's hard to make those to walk out the door, and especially now when you have a little one who's 2 feet tall and doesn't understand sometimes.
Yeah.
But you have to have that support system. But it is a tough decision to make. But I was able to come, and that was we needed to be here for that.
Yeah.
Ian was one of those moments where I was like, this is why I got into it. Even how long it was, the after fact of us going out to survey was one of those of like, this is why we do what we
hurricanes are usually both for me. This
Yeah, I
is
was
why I
gonna
got
say.
into it, and then when it's over,
Yeah.
it's like, why do I do this?
Why?
You're
Why?
so tired.
Yeah, because you're
Yeah.
just so dead.
We've been through how many hurricanes together now? 4?
Isaias,
Three
Ian,
hurricanes?
Idalia doesn't really count.
Idalia, yeah. Well, it was one,
It doesn't
technically.
really count.
Yeah. And then we've had
So
some tropical storms.
Yeah, we've had some. Yeah,
Yeah.
And some
yeah.
severe
So
weather
2 good
days, too.
hurricanes.
Definitely
yeah.
severe weather
Yeah.
days.
All right, next question. What's one of your favorite characteristics about the First Alert Weather Team?
Their honesty and transparency.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. No. Because that leads to trust, and that leads to what you just said a minute ago. So we have to have that trust factor because you guys are honest with me. And when I ask, do we need to be prepared? And you say no, I have to be like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I'll ask again, are you sure?
Yeah.
And then the
And
next
then the next day, are you sure we don't need to be doing more with this? But the honesty and transparency, I think, is really, really fun. Instead of just saying, Matt, go back to your office.
Yeah.
It's just talking about it and walking me through models when I pull up some things and say, well, this is what I saw. And then seeing your eyes roll, and we're like, well, you're not seeing the whole picture.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's honesty and trust. Yeah.
Yeah, I would much rather have a news director that is
Involved.
somewhat in tune and can somewhat look at a forecast model, somewhat,
Somewhat.
versus one that is totally checked out
Yeah.
of weather.
And not involved at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I feel like when we do say we need to go, you're like, all right, let's go.
What is the biggest challenge about being a news director?
There are some times where you have to make again, there's some tough decisions to make when it comes to budgeting and when it comes to whether we put somebody on a certain story or not. Some of those moments are pretty tough. Some of those moments are tough. I think budgeting can be hard. I think sometimes budgeting can be hard, but it's a process. It's gotten a lot easier over the years, just because I have a great boss, and Scott Sanders, who supports what we do in the newsroom. He's fantastic. You guys know that. Scott's amazing. So that's really good. I think that's probably it, really.
Yeah.
The numbers sometimes can be tricky, but overall, I think there's not really a hard part, though.
I'm sure personnel issues are always fun.
Well, we can't talk about those.
I know we can't, but I'm sure they're always fun.
I could never do it.
could never. I could never be in
You
it
know,
just because of all
You have to be a listener.
the drama that sometimes you have to deal with.
Well, people. I mean, I like to say we're a family, and this place is really, really fun. But like all families, sometimes brothers and sisters, have
They fight.
disagreements, and sometimes there are. Everybody's passionate here, which is really good,
Yeah.
and everybody has opinions, which is really good. And sometimes those opinions flare, or there's little dust ups, but that's about it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But
everywhere.
understanding that and knowing that's going to happen,
Right.
I think that's really good, especially when those arguments and those disagreements are about coverage and they're
Yeah.
about what we do as a team and about where we go and how we do things, and less about the other stuff, right? So when it's a disagreement about how we should go about with a story or something along those things, I actually enjoy that stuff.
I also appreciate too when it comes to being a news director. What you do is you don't just hire to fill bodies either. And I know, like, we're talking about some internal stuff, but when it comes to hiring, we hire the people that fit the mold. We're not just hiring to hire and fill positions,
Right.
which I love. So thank you for that.
Well, you have to be a good person first, right? I mean, you got to be a good person.
Yeah.
Good thing he didn't hire me. I was grandfathered in.
Matt started in December
December
2019. I was
2019.
April, so
Yeah.
I was here before. Speaking of which, what was your first impression of each other when you all met? Matt meeting Jamie, Matt meeting Andrew, Andrew meeting Jamie, etc.
Okay.
These are all Matt questions. I
No.
love it.
Yeah, no, I like this one. Yeah,
I like
first
this one.
impressions.
Well, you were the one of the people I met on my interview.
Yeah,
We talked.
Yeah, we talked about weather.
We talked about weather, and I knew from the get-go that we could have a relationship because you were open about weather, and you didn't just you appreciated my interest in weather, and then from there I was like, okay, I got a chief. We got a good chief on that one. Andrew, your just willingness just to be anywhere and everywhere, and just diving in, and not only being a key weather component, but you're also a key person for the morning team in general too. I think that was a really good first impression that I had with you,
Yeah.
knowing that you were part of that decision-making process in the morning team.
Once I knew you talked weather, I was fine, but I was worried at first because
Yeah.
anytime you hear change, you're like, oh. But then when we talked weather, I was like, wow, he loves weather. I felt pretty good.
And then the first time I met you, I think it was when you were here for your interview.
Oh, I knew we would get along right from the get-go.
And it was so super casual,
Yeah.
which is kind of how we roll. Me, you, and your wife went to Bums.
Right? Tin Roof.
Tin Roof.
Tin Roof.
Went to Tin Roof.
Yeah.
And that was kind of it. Like,
That was
yeah,
it. We
all
talked
right.
weather for like 2 hours before Emily's
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, your wife is sitting there. Yeah, it's like, yeah, he'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll bring him on.
It'll do. And it's been that way ever since.
Yeah.
I think we have a couple more in there.
And I've got a couple, or at least one on my phone.
Okay, good. Rapid fire.
What's your favorite kind of severe weather coverage? Hurricanes, tornadoes, or winter weather?
And we use the term favorite
Okay.
lightly. We're not wishing
yes,
anything.
yes.
If I had to pick, favorite. So obviously, there's not a favorite. I
Well,
enjoy
yeah.
covering anything, but if I had to pick, it's tornadoes.
Really?
Honestly, it's tornadoes.
Really?
It's,
Wow, I
it's
thought you
tornadoes
would've said
because,
hurricanes.
well, hurricanes you see from a long ways away.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah.
the build up and the build up and the build up, and you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I wish it would just do something,
Yeah.
one way or the other. But tornadoes, because they just keep, it's adrenaline junkie.
Oh,
you don't know where they're going to pop up, and then you track them and you find them, and then you can. The sheer awe of a tornado to me is impressive.
I feel like if there
but-
was a coverage that got your
Yeah.
heart rate up, it would be tornadoes.
It's tornadoes. It's tornadoes. Yeah.
So that's why you enjoy
But
it.
you're such a planner
I know,
and
I know.
meticulous,
So
detailed person.
It's
I have to
opposite of who he
Yeah, it's
is.
opposite of who you think, but I enjoy tornadoes.
Because let's kind of go back and because we forgot this very important part about Matt, former Marine,
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
chain of command.
Yes.
Everything is in order. This
very
is
organized.
just perfectly organized. His office is spotless. First news director I've ever seen
with a spotless office.
with a spotless office because normally it's just papers and boxes on the floor and things are taped to the walls. You go into Matt's office, he's got a little candle lit. It's quiet. His desk is clean.
He's got all the
little,
K-cup
one little
assortments.
notepad, coffee pot, and you're good. It's quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that really blows my mind because
Well, you have to be
Tornado coverage
organized.
is so-
It's chaotic, so that's why I try and keep things organized and planned out, so I can anticipate the chaos.
Yeah, I feel like there's different levels to Matt.
Winter weather is by far my least favorite, though. I am not a fan of that.
we've yet to do a big winter storm.
Yeah.
I'm ready to
Yeah.
go through that with you.
I mean,
A
I'll-
little fake ice.
yeah.
or
a
whatever.
little couple little. but I'm
That's
ready
my
for the
least
big one.
favorite, just because honestly, it impacts the people here
Yeah.
so much that you can't, you have to. They can't drive around,
Yeah.
and I get it, they can't drive around in a hurricane too, and they can't drive around in a tornado. I get it, but it's a little easier to get from one place to another
Yeah.
when the threat has passed.
Right.
But when it's an ice storm or a snowstorm and the roads are shut down and the bridge are shut down, you can't really go anywhere.
That makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. Why he asked so much about like the Storm Prediction Center, latest hours,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's him.
That's tornadoes are
Tornadoes.
It makes
tornadoes.
sense now that I think.
They've been such an impactful part of my life and a lot of people that I know.
Oh, goodness. We got another question. How needy are Jamie and Andrew?
I think needy is a not a good word to describe. I think demanding. is a
How
good
so?
word.
How
No.
so, Matt?
I like it.
You know what you know what you want,
Yeah.
and you know what it takes to win, and
Yeah.
you know what it takes to put on a good newscast
Yeah.
because you've seen them. You guys have worked in the industry for a
Mm-hmm.
while now, so I think it's demanding, but in a good way though. I don't think needy. They're not needy in the fact that they constantly need. Good jobs and attaboys. You guys aren't needy like that.
I think we would actually rather be left alone.
Yeah.
More than
Yeah.
like,
You're not really needy.
Yeah.
I
But
don't-
demanding for sure.
demanding, and it only in terms of coverage
Mm-hmm.
and how we should attack the coverage. I think that's a good thing though.
Yeah.
You're not needy in the fact that Matt, I need K-cups today.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
The only thing I will say sometimes, which is really fun, is Jamie's Chick-fil-A order. So when you got to keep Jamie on Chick-fil-A. That's
If I'm here working
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
severe weather, all
Yes.
I'm asking for is some food.
yeah, number one,
Give
right?
me number one, no pickles,
Yep.
tomato, add mayonnaise and Chick-fil-A
Yep.
sauce. And if you forget the mayonnaise,
Game over.
I'm not a happy man.
I forgot to print one out. I thought it was in there. Your favorite moment at WMBF so far?
Oh man, there's been so many. There's
know.
been some amazing. This is really cool. Yeah, this is up there. I think this is fun. You guys finally got me on this show. Rebuilding this place from the inside out has been fun.
Yeah.
Launching the set has been fun. There's been a lot of really good moments. Watching the team grow and have success and do amazing things that when I sit back and watch as a viewer sometimes during the newscast and then look at what the team here in the newsroom is able to do, it's amazing to see them go, and it's really fun. Like, this is a good team.
Yeah.
I want to go back because you skipped over it. You always skip over the good stuff. Just when
Oh,
we're trying,
yeah,
just
I
when
know.
we're digging
I know.
in. Just when we're
I
digging
know
in.
what you're talking about.
us being demanding.
Okay,
I have
yeah,
a me being
good.
demanding moment. We've often
Oh.
talked on the podcast about our hurricane coverage.
I was going to say hurricane.
And how I can get a little high strung during hurricane coverage. And again, it's because I want it to be good.
Yes.
An interesting moment with Matt was with Hurricane Ian. And I used to lose my temper a lot during hurricanes, pre-Matt, because I felt like we could do a lot more. Adrenaline's pumping. I want it to be the best it can be. I walked into the control room during Hurricane Ian. It was like we were in the height of it. I mean, things were just happening left and right. And I think I wanted something more or something. And Matt very politely said, calm down. We're doing what we can. We'll get to it when we get to it. And kind of like a little puppy dog, I walked out with my tail between my legs. Because in the best way possible, it was a reality check for me. Like, Jamie,
Yeah.
calm down.
Yeah.
We're good.
See,
We'll get to it when we get to it.
I take those moments though, and I never forget those moments, and
Yeah.
I build on those for the next time that hurricane comes
Yeah.
around and say, okay, what was he? What was it?
Right.
And we talk about that and see
Yeah.
if we can overcome that and do it again.
Yeah.
No. My favorite part about Hurricane Matt, too, and maybe this is where we are needy, is, and I'm thinking about it more, he'll always come, at least to me and you for sure, Robert, Matt usually, and he does it to the newsroom too, but for sure, if like you and I are starting off the coverage every 15 minutes, Bogat, y'all need anything? You good?
You good?
You need anything?
You good?
Hey, I could use a water or a Coke, Matt, if you don't mind.
You good? Yeah.
It's Hurricane Matt for you.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
yeah, I have to make sure everything's needed. The last thing
Yeah.
you need is water, on the
right.
set. I mean, or when you're
Yeah.
coughing or you're
Yeah.
been talking. You guys are the ones that do all the talking.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, I appreciate you coming on for sure. We're not done yet.
Okay.
But I also, do we have one more?
Yeah, we got one more.
Oh, yeah.
We've actually got two more.
Oh, maybe that's
three
where I
more.
thought.
I think we just kind of.
Oh, yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
I thought that we didn't have any more. I didn't see them in there.
Let's see.
But I always appreciate how you're a yes person.
Ooh, I love these kind of questions. These are. See,
We
this
can
is
get
the
back
stuff
to
we
that.
need to get into. What is your biggest pet peeve that Jamie and Andrew do or say? Go on.
Wow.
And then we
Pet
can
peeve.
answer one for
then
Matt.
we can answer one for Matt. Yeah, for sure.
Oh man. You know, is it a cop out if I say I don't have a pet peeve for you
Yes.
guys?
Kinda.
Yes.
Golly.
Yeah. No, it is.
At
Okay.
least something.
Something. I
Something
know
we
that we
do.
get on your nerves sometimes.
Not really.
Oh, come on, Matt.
Okay.
The people want the drama.
There's not a lot of drama.
People want the drama.
There's not a lot of drama. Okay,
There's-
I think the biggest pet peeve sometimes is, and this goes back to me kind of sometimes overstepping a little bit and saying that I think we need to call it first alert weather day or a first alert
we go.
type day, and one of you, well, let's wait a second, or let's not. I'm not seeing this, and I'm like, well, we're seeing different things. I think that's my biggest pet peeve is when I want to ramp up something, and then you don't. Yeah, I don't like disagreeing with you. That's a pet peeve.
Right. Yeah,
I don't like disagreeing with you.
No, and that's I'd say that would have to be mine.
But
that's mine too.
But that's healthy though.
It's healthy,
It is.
and we do it in a healthy way
Yeah.
because you will sometimes push like we need. Matt, this isn't the one for us. This isn't the event we need to pump up.
And we typically know the event that you'll ask for, which is funny. So like I'll text Jamie, I'll be like, hey, just looking over some of the latest model data, kind of thinking this. I ramped it up, but I didn't go red, but I'll let you know if Matt asks.
Yep.
And it's typically when I go into your office for biscuits with the boss is what Darion calls it. Within 2 seconds. So it's like, hey, do you think we should go red on Tuesday? And I'm like, there it is.
Yeah.
But I, like you said, it's a healthy conversation.
Yeah.
That's the pet peeve, I think. But it's not a bad pet peeve.
Yeah.
That's not the only one. Come on.
What else?
No, you got to give us ours.
I'm trying to think.
That's it. There's not a lot.
Little day-to-day things that I do that get on your nerves.
I mean, every now and then I'll have to pick up a empty Coke can from the weather.
Oh, that's not me.
It's not me
office.
either.
That's the other part. That's the original. You were very much a neat freak.
Or making sure your office is clean, which is normally it is, but
Pet peeve. It's my office. It's our office.
making sure that But I do that to everybody's office.
Our office stays clean.
For the most
May
part.
not be as clean and spotless as yours.
For the most part.
You neat freak.
That's a pet peeve. That counts.
Yeah,
That counts.
neat freak.
Dusted. Like make sure things are clean.
Yeah.
There was a time there for a good, solid month to where before I left, I would always tilt the monitor a little bit, how Mac didn't like it, because I knew he would come in
Don't do that.
to irritate you and tilt it just back to that perfect degree.
And when we first moved into the new studio, like every newscast, he was in there with his little wipe, like getting all fingerprints.
He took away our garbage can. Do you remember that?
Away our garbage can. This is a studio. You don't eat, you don't drink, you don't need to make trash. There was no trash can.
We've come a long way, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was saying earlier too, thank you for always being a yes person.
Okay.
So this is
yeah.
from a yes. And that doesn't mean you say yes to everything, but
I like to try and find a way to get something accomplished. I don't like to think about speed bumps or automatically just saying no.
yeah.
What is a way? And if multiple people come forward with a great idea, let's try it. Yeah, I believe in failing fast, and if it doesn't work, hey, let's not do it again, but let's try.
Yeah.
And I think we have to be there for that.
What were your expectations with Are You Serious when it launched? Did you think it would be as successful?
No.
Okay.
No.
good.
No. This is by
He's
far.
honest.
To be honest with you, well, I knew we would do it well, but the thing that I didn't think was going to happen was the sustainability of it.
Right.
And this has only gotten better with each week and better with each. And I absolutely.
That's right. It's gotten
Yes,
better.
it's gotten better each week because a lot of times you have a good idea and you can launch it and you can do one thing or a couple of weeks or 3 weeks and it's really good. But then how do you keep that momentum going? And not only has the team behind Are You Serious, including you guys and Sarah and Anya and everybody involved and the whole digital team and Kristen and everybody Michael getting us out there. And but it's just the way that it's been just embraced has been really cool. It's been embraced by the community and the viewers, and it really is getting better. I can't wait to see what season 3 brings.
Yeah, me neither.
It's going to be amazing.
I know we have one more question.
Yeah, this one's from our buddy Mark. Matt, WMBF coverage area does not routinely include Brunswick County, which I assume is because it's covered by Wilmington stations. So why does WMBF cover Robeson County, Lumberton, which are geographically further away than Brunswick County?
Well, that's a really good question. I would say call your congressman. Many decades ago, they divvied up the maps, and they thought that, well, these viewers will associate more with a Myrtle Beach, Florence at the time, because it was based out of Florence, and there was no Myrtle Beach in BC for the longest time until we signed on, and the coverage was out of Wilmington or Columbia. And then when we signed on, we increased that coverage map. But really, it's 56 years ago. It's antiquated. It's dated. We enjoy covering Robeson. We enjoy covering our North Carolina counties. I would love to cover Brunswick County more.
Love to
because
cover Brunswick.
And this is, I love my friends at WECT in Wilmington. They do a fantastic job. But it's weird that it's such arbitrary because you cross the line and all of a sudden you're in a new, TV station market area. That doesn't make any sense.
And it's weird too because
That doesn't make
Brunswick
any
County
sense.
is technically part of the Myrtle Beach metropolitan area.
Correct.
And you go to Calabash and Charlotte, whatever else is across the border, Sunset, all those.
Sunset Beach.
They all do their business in like North Myrtle Beach. They cross the border
Correct.
into Horry County, doctors, business, shopping. It's all
Especially
done here. They're not
especially
going to
Charlotte
Wilmington.
and Calabash,
Charlotte and
no,
Calabash.
yeah.
They're not going up there.
Absolutely.
They're much more sort of attuned with us, and they're also meteorologically a little more similar to us.
Yeah, a lot of the
than
weather
Wilmington.
in North Myrtle Beach and that is the same, and it
Yeah.
tracks that way and it impacts.
Yeah.
It really does. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I would say write your congressman. Yeah, it's the same thing on the South Strand.
Yeah.
too.
Georgetown.
We kind of
Georgetown, yeah.
bleed over with Murrells Inlet and Polly's and making in Georgetown up. So it just depends on that. So there's a lot of interesting ideas behind that.
Yeah.
Speaking of our fantastic sister station, WECT in Wilmington, isn't that who we beat for the best podcast?
Also titled "Shooting the Breeze." So that was
Titled
their-
Shooting the Breeze, yeah.
Yeah,
So we
but,
beat them. Sorry, kids.
I'm going to let you make the announcement on our finale.
Yes. So details are finally done.
Research and
After
development team has finished.
A lot of research and development. You and I had a good night of research and development at our location for the RU Cirrus live podcast holiday party extravaganza.
You don't know what to call it.
Deluxe, whatever. So Thursday, December 7th.
Yes.
At 7:30 p.m.
Yep.
we will be at Lombardo's.
Name dropped it a couple times already.
Name dropped it a couple of times, and apparently it worked because they were like, yes, do it here.
They're pumped.
They are pumped. They are going to take really good care of us
That's good.
at Lombardo's. They always do, but they have really, I think, are going to go above and beyond. We have an entire dining room to ourselves
Which is awesome.
for the party. That dining room, now this is where we got to tell you some instructions. That dining room seats 50, seats about 50 people. So here's what you need to do. We're going to put the number and everything up on the screen. We need you to call Lombardo's, make reservations for
Tell
December
them
7th,
you're with.
and tell them that you were with the podcast. And that way you will be seated where we will be doing the live podcast.
Yeah.
I'm saying make the reservations for like 6:30 or 7. That way you can, if you want to eat and have a drink or whatever, and then kind of watch the podcast, you can do that.
And you can make it for 6 probably if you want it.
6:30, 7, yeah, whatever. We're going to be there the whole time either way. But again, we'll be doing the podcast at 7:30 live. We've got some giveaways we're working on. We got some maybe
swag?
Some swag.
Yeah.
We got some drawings we're working on.
Okay.
Matt, close your ears. We got specialty cocktails.
Yes. They made them for us.
They made them for us, and they will
You
be.
can't announce them yet, can you?
No, it'll be a surprise.
Yeah.
So, most important thing is make the reservations and mention the podcast. RU Cirrus. They know that when you mention that, they know where to see you. Now, assuming we fill up that dining room,
They have an overflow area.
they have an overflow area, and again, we're basically kind of taking over the whole restaurant for the night.
The last time that was live was really good.
It
It
was.
was really
It was
good.
really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It was outside. We had some
Hecklers.
We had
some
some
riffraff show up.
enthusiastic
Enthusiastic
Oh,
viewers.
we will not have that this time.
Yeah, we won't have it this time. Yeah, we're going to have Matt maybe as our bouncer bodyguard.
Oh, that'd
yeah.
be
So any riffraff, anybody gets out of control.
Put him with some sunglasses.
Yeah, some aviators. Yeah, Matt Stanley guarding the door. I love it. So we're
Absolutely.
really excited about that. And I think topic-wise that week, because it's something that we all love to talk about, especially around here, we probably won't do a super deep dive, but White Christmas, 1989.
Yeah.
So if you were here for that, if you have some pictures
Bring
from
them.
back in the day, we'd love to see those because that's just something we love to do. We'll just kind of run through how we ended up with the White Christmas of 1989.
Yeah, for sure.
And then just have a great time.
Yeah, it'll be a blast. I already took off the morning show the next day. Thank you for approving that PTO.
Yeah, I'm going to be taking off the next day as well. Although I noticed you've already scheduled a meeting for that
Yeah,
day.
but we can come in for the
yeah,
meeting.
Once again, we'll be coming in.
That
on
can
the
be
day
a,
off.
that can just be an email meeting though.
Oh,
We can
Okay,
just,
good.
We can just do
Thanks.
that.
Appreciate it.
There we
Yeah.
go. So that's that. Also, next week, we will not have an episode for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Celebrate with your loved ones if you want to go back. Maybe share the podcast with your loved ones. That'd be awesome. And then we finish this setting on the last day of hurricane season, November 30th. Mitch West and Aaron Smith are coming
Oh
down.
wow.
Yeah, who are, in case you're just tuning in, two semi-local
Storm
storm
chasers.
chasers. Mitch is up towards Columbia, Aaron's in Florence-ish.
Yeah.
Local storm chasers, they're fantastic, and like are out there with the big dogs.
Yeah, can't wait.
Chasing hurricanes, chasing tornadoes, chasing snowstorms.
Yeah.
Doing it all. And they're both just super, super nice guys. So I'm excited about that. That'll be a fun episode.
Yeah. So we really finished season 2 with a bang.
Wow, it's fantastic.
And then December 7th at Lombardo's.
Yeah.
So
It'll be a big day. Big day on December 7th.
Bring your best vest.
Ooh.
Yes.
It's a best.
bring your best. All right, Matt. So we really messed up on this.
Oh, did we?
We were supposed to ask Matt what his heart rate was.
Heart rate was at the beginning.
At the beginning
What
of
is
the
it now?
podcast, and what is it now?
Yeah, let's
Are
see.
you-
It's elevated, but it's okay. It's a lot of coffee. I won't say it on air, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
triple. It's triple
Was
digits.
it as bad as you thought it would be?
No, this has been great. Well, I like talking to y'all.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Were you nervous at first?
I was nervous 2 weeks ago, and then last week, and then yesterday,
What?
and then this morning.
and then this morning.
And then
no, because we talk all the time, so this is not anything that it's not. I'm not a huge public speaker, but this is not that. So I think this is fun.
I've got to keep going just a little bit more.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
we
let's
have,
go.
Because we have him here.
Let's sure.
I
I'm
thought
here.
we were wrapping this up, but then it keeps coming to me. The phone calls and emails. that
Oh
you
wow,
get
man, that's an awesome question.
from-
oh my
Oh,
gosh.
from viewers.
You know what we're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
There's some.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
They're probably not watching.
You hear them all.
I do. There are some. Thank you for the ones that do call in and say thank you, and email us because that is appreciated.
But they are usually far outnumbered by.
There are some spirited individuals that would rather us not cut in during certain programming, if it's a tornado warning or a hurricane, and sometimes they, there have been some crafty voicemails that I think that stick out. There was one NASCAR race. I think it's at the same time. There was a NASCAR race and there was a football game on another channel, not even our channel. I mean, we couldn't air both. So there was a NASCAR and a football game, and there was a tornado warning, and it was on the weekend. And everybody thought you would think that we had just killed their dog or just ruined everything in their lives for the 20 minutes that we cut in for a tornado warning. And then they kept calling.
Yeah.
Because the more times, and this is just as a tip to our viewers though, the more times you call, doesn't do anything differently. It's
I'll
the
say
better.
what Matt won't say. The crazier we think you are, and the more like you call 25 times,
see a
and send
reoccurring
25
number.
emails. We're like, no, this is a crazy.
We appreciate all our viewers, but some of them are again more spirited than others.
Crazy.
And but now it's like when I moved to the Carolinas, I didn't grow up NASCAR, and that wasn't part of my life.
Yeah.
So, but now I know that if we have NASCAR on, we have to have a serious conversation about what counts as. What do we cut in or not cut in? So I think that's fun. And then there's also some fun stuff that we get with aliens.
Aliens, a lot of
We
aliens.
get a lot of aliens because of the coastal and
Yeah,
the beach,
yeah,
and we get a lot of Starlink.
Yeah,
You can see a lot of things.
Yeah.
So we get some shining lights.
We
and,
get a lot of aliens.
and
We get some occasional chemtrails.
some chemtrails, and the news just can't go out and cover all the aliens. We have other things to do.
Plus, we can't talk about that.
I would
and
love to cover
chemical
aliens.
engineering that the government is. I'm sorry, that we're working on. I mean, that nobody.
They're gonna clip
to
it.
stoke the fire
Right.
a little bit.
But we no comment on any of that. No comment. We get a lot of emails and a lot of voicemails.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But I listen to all the voicemails, every single one of them. And we do hear you. We do read all the emails. So good or bad, keep sending them.
We know it's a good one when he forwards the voicemail to us.
Yeah.
I know if I get a voicemail from Matt that it's probably something way out there. Like
I look forward to it.
like
Oh,
kinda
attachment.
crazy. Yeah.
Let's
right?
see.
Okay.
Yeah, we really need to start saving those.
I have some saved.
Yeah.
Also, because we totally forgot, we also dropped the ball. How was House Hunters?
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
So interesting note. House Hunters was
Fun fact Friday, you were on House
that
Hunters.
I was on House Hunters when we moved from Auburn, Alabama to Baton Rouge. It's intense.
Yeah.
It's intense, and it's really early and long. It's early days and long days. They start early. It's this crew of 3 people. They have a producer, a camera person, and an audio person, and they wake up with you practically, and you're eating dinner with them. You're staying out late with them, and they're just in your lives. They're in your lives. Now, I'm not going to ruin House Hunters for those that
Yeah,
aren't
you've already ruined
familiar
it for me.
with
Yeah.
that.
Really?
But there's
It's
a
the
trick.
juice.
I'm not. There's a trick to it. You
Everybody
have
probably has a feeling.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
things are
email me. Call me.
stage?
things are prearranged.
There are some ideas behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The show has a formula.
Yeah.
The show has a
Yes.
formula. It's
Yeah.
very formulaic, but
Yeah.
it was fun.
still watch it.
It
Love
was
it.
fun, and I'll never do it again.
Right.
But it was fun though.
Yeah.
And then they come back too. They want to come back and see what you've
Oh,
done
I
with
did
the
not know
house.
that.
So they come back to that.
Yeah.
And see what you've done to the
And
house.
wasn't your wife on Jeopardy?
So
Jeopardy.
yes.
I mean, at this point,
Wow,
Ari
yeah.
Cirrus is just like
Yeah.
a small feed.
Right.
So there's another interesting fact. So yes, she was on Jeopardy a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And then it's also we watch it every night too. So she was on Jeopardy. She did fantastic, by the way.
Yeah.
She got Final Jeopardy right, which is
Wow.
amazing, and it was about the Ohio State University. She got that right. So
Good little chunk of
really,
change. Did
really,
you bet big? Did you bet big?
she went bet big on a daily double, and she mispronounced a medical term by just like a syllable.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
that
that's
would
the
have put her close to the top on that
Yeah.
one. So she did a true daily double. I'm so proud of that. And she came back strong on Final Jeopardy. So that was really good. She didn't win. Look, I'm still here, right? I'm still working. So
Yeah.
we didn't.
Wasn't that much.
He's on Are You Serious?
Yeah. She's on Jeopardy.
Yes.
You're on Are You
And then
Serious?
just for for purposes, this is an NBC affiliate. So previously we could not have done that because my previous 2 stations were the CBS affiliate.
Yeah.
So if you work for a CBS affiliate or have association with any of CBS, you couldn't do Jeopardy or anything
Yeah.
like that. So and then before I met her in college, nearly 15 years ago, she was on Wheel of Fortune, and she won that.
Man.
She was on, and her sister was also on Wheel of Fortune.
Boy, you
Separate
made her
times.
up.
Have you
You
ever
made
tried to
right
be
up.
on? Have you
Yes.
ever tried to be on it?
Yeah.
I auditioned for Big Brother back in the day.
Yeah. And then the final puzzle at the end was "Give Me a Break," and she got it. And we have it on. We have a
Wow.
CD of it, DVD of it, and you can see that her eyes get big when she knows
When
when
she-
she got
yeah.
it. Yep. That was really cool.
Man.
Any other thing that we
Wow.
forgot?
Your wife is impressive.
I outkicked my coverage, and if you know what that means, that absolutely, it's a blessing. She is amazing at every step of the way. Just the fact that she puts up with me every day, and this crazy business that we do.
We often talk amongst ourselves about we don't know how she does it. Because what we have to deal with in here,
He's just going on.
what we have to deal
I feel
with
like
in
she
here,
needs to be
I'll
on
often
this now.
say is,
Yeah.
bless her heart.
Could you imagine
could
if we
you
had Laura
imagine?
on this?
I think she needs to be a special guest one day.
Man, that would be fun.
That would be good. Or maybe she needs to send
That
in a
would be
What
fun.
does
comment.
Matt tell you
Now,
about
that's
us?
an After Dark episode.
Listen, she's amazing, and
She
she has a full-time job too, and she's an amazing mom.
Yeah.
Puts
And
up
she
with
puts
me.
up with you.
Yes, yeah, that could be a lot. Yeah, that can be a lot
Wow.
sometimes, and I realize that.
Yeah, a lot.
It's good growth.
Man,
I'm not oblivious to how.
high maintenance you are.
Yes. Speaking of high maintenance, yes. No, that's
It's Jamie.
That's me.
Oh man.
Yeah, wow. Is that it?
I think that's all I had.
How long have we gone?
It's been a good
It's been a-
conversation.
it's
It's
been
been
just
just
an
30
hour.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So
That's pretty good. Huh.
Anything else, you guys?
I don't think so.
Probably not for
If
on
not, we'll bring you back
camera.
for season 4.
Yeah.
Sure. Season
Hopefully
4.
with
Talk
multiple
about
awards.
Talk about some raises, some contracts.
Remember when I said about budgets?
Well, if we could continue to grow this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Last episode, we were notified that this podcast has made $79.62.
Yes.
We've almost paid for the microphones, which is fantastic.
If you could keep
So you're-
watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe,
Let's
comment.
try to get to $100 on this thing. Maybe we can get a new mug.
These mugs are great. You don't like these mugs?
I love these mugs.
They're good.
I love these mugs. Apparently, these were almost as expensive as the microphones were.
That's what Cameron said. Wow. I think that does it for
Yeah,
episode
that's
32.
it.
Congratulations
That's it.
again, everybody,
Thank
for
you.
the,
Thank
for
you.
the award.
Thank you.
It's,
Was there like a standing ovation? Because you actually were at the awards.
I was.
when we were.
There was
awarded
a
this.
lot of applause.
A lot of applause,
Yes,
standing
there was a
ovation.
lot of
People were like
applause.
chanting, "Are you serious?"
There was a lot of
Yeah.
fans.
Good.
A lot of fans there,
Good.
especially from the Raleigh market.
I'm sure they were.
yeah.
I'm sure they're big time watchers.
We're international too, so
We are.
I'm sure
Yeah.
that it was live streamed across the world.
Yeah, that
So,
dude in Iran, he's gonna be happy.
I can't with you. He's on one today. Oh, well, that does it for us. Episode 32.
Yeah.
Matt,
episode
thank you
32.
again.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Do the Lombardo's thing. Make the reservations. Mention the podcast. We'll be putting it on social media. Looking forward to that.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Matt, thanks.
Thank you. All righty.
Hopefully it was painless.
Yeah, it was.
Good.
That's been Are You Serious? A weather conversation between you and us. We'll see you all in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Have a good one.
Thanks, y'all.